Welcome to Beth's Happy Home. Today I'm going to show you how to make this shoulder bag, and it's a fun project, and the thing that I like best about it is that you can make every one completely unique and make it to match your favorite outfit and then have another side that will match your other favorite outfit. So this is the bold side. This is a real heavy-duty upholstery fabric, and this is the lighter weight fabric. And this is a fancy trick that this bag does, is that you can use it either side. It's completely reversible. And so that's what it looks like from the other side. So if you have a very bold outfit, you might want to wear the plain side of the bag. And if you have a plain outfit, you might want to wear the bold printed side. Now, for the sake of ease, so that you can understand what I'm talking about as we go along, I'm going to refer to the heavy side as the outside and the lighter weight side as the inside. And it happens that the heavier side is going to be the plain, the heavier side is going to be the printed, and the lighter weight is going to be the plain, just like with this one. So the first thing you'll need to do is to obtain a pattern. Now, I got this pattern, I found it on Pinterest, and it was at http://verypurpleperson.com. And so if you go to that website and find the printable pattern, just hook it up to your printer and click print, and you're going to get several sheets. So cut out the shapes that are on those sheets and then tape it together, matching 1A with 1A, 2A with 2A, and 3A with 3A. Now there's one note that I'll give you, and that is that this pattern has this dark line right here is the stitching line, and I don't use, that's a 5/8 line, and I don't use that one. I use a 1/4 inch stitching line, so you can just ignore this dark line and cut along the lighter one that's on the outside of that one. It has a dart right here, so I'll show you how to do darts in just a minute. Pattern on it like that. And so now I have 1, 2, so that will be the what we'll call the inside, and then I have the same thing in this heavier weight fabric that is going to be the outside, or what we will call the outside. Now, after I got these cut out by folding the fabric, I'm going to really quickly show you a folding trick so that it'll make it a little bit faster for you to do it. When you're going to do the fabric, rather than just folding it once, and let me show you a trick for cutting it out that'll make it a little bit easier. So you'll fold your fabric in half, and then fold it in half lengthwise again, and that way you've got your raw edges here and a folded edge here, but you have 2 folded edges on this side, and so you can lay your pattern right on there. In fact, I'm even going to match this bottom edge with this flat edge of the fabric and pin it like this along the edges, not crossways but lengthwise, so that you'll be able to cut around it and you won't bump into any pins. Once I get that done for the yellow and for the chevron style fabric, I'm going to end up with these 4 pieces, and then I'm going to mark the darts. Okay, so this is the position that it was in. It was 4 layers. Right now it's only 1 layer, or 2 layers rather. So I poked a pin right at the point of this dart. If you can get away with just using pins to mark the fabric, then that's good. So I have a pin on both sides indicating just the point of the dart, and then I took a marker and I just made a dot right at the bottom edge where the dart starts on this edge. So I made that on both sides of the fabric. It just needs to be on the very, very tip. Don't take it into the fabric at all because that isn't going to wash out. And you want that in the seam allowance. All right, so I'm going to stitch this dart by starting my machine right at that mark that's on the edge of the fabric, giving a little bit of back stitching so that it'll be nice and secure. Now I'm going to aim my needle right at this pin that's marking the point of the dart. So I'm holding my fabric so that I can kind of aim it right there. And it's pretty close. You want it to go right off the edge, right at the pin, as close as you can get it. If it goes 1/4 of an inch short or long, you don't need to worry because those two marks are never going to be directly compared. So it might not be completely even. Okay, so I've sewn both of these darts on this side, but before I do the other side of this yellow fabric, I'm going to show you how to do a pocket in there. So I'll bring you back when I'm set up for that. The next thing to do is to get the patch pocket that's going on the outside of the heavier fabric ready to go. So then I'm going to press under a little 1/4 inch hem all the way around, just press it, and then on the top I will double that. So I'll roll it twice like this. And I will stitch this. You want to put the pocket on before you make the darts on the outside also, or on the heavier fabric. So this is a patch pocket. You could do just patch pockets, not mess with the zipper pocket, but I think the zipper pocket is worth the extra trouble. So this is just a narrow edge pressed in, and on top it's 2 layers. It's rolled once. So I'm going to position it right in the center of this side. Make sure it's straight. And then pin it into place. You're going to want to back stitch right here when you stitch it on because that's going to take a bit of strain as the hands and the belongings go in and out of the pocket. So pin it while it's nice and flat. And since you're going to be messing with this piece of fabric, you've got your pins here that are marking the end of your dart. You might want to just put that one in and out a little bit just so it hangs on, but not interfere with the pocket as you stitch it. So those are secure now. So now I'm just going to stitch around it. Sink the needle down, spin the fabric, there again, spin it again. Sure to back stitch and then go forward again. Okay, that's all there is to that kind of a pocket. These pieces all done, they're ready to be assembled. So there's one, the one with the zipper, and as you notice I have pressed the darts toward the bottom of the bag. So I'm going to put the right sides together. These are pressed also. And I'm going to put a pin on each dart to hold them down, hold them where they're pointing to the bottom. Just match the edges all the way around, and then I'm going to stitch them using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So a couple more pins just to make sure that I keep those edges nice and tightly together. You notice when I pin them perpendicular to the edge of the fabric. That's because the needle should walk over these pins without them having to be removed. Although for some reason my machine objects to these big long pins, and sometimes it won't walk over them very well. But most pins, your machine should walk over most pins without needing to take them out. So all the way around the bottom to this corner. So that one is ready to stitch, but I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the heavier one. So the pocket is now applied right there. The darts are made and they are also pressed toward the bottom. So we'll put the right side up on that one, put the right side against it so that the right sides are together, and same thing, put a pin on each of the darts so that they stay pointing the same direction. That's just going to give a neater look, and it also will help to maintain the round shape of the bottom of the bag so that it looks like it's three-dimensional instead of just being like a two-dimensional flat sack. Those darts give it kind of a cute shape. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, as I said, and that means I'm going to put the edge of the presser foot right on the edge of the fabric, and that will make a nice 1/4 inch. My stitch length is 2 out of 4, and that will do me just fine. And then I'm going to go around the edge again on this heavier fabric because this is going to want to fray a little bit. And so I'm going to just do a little double stitch. I'm going to sew it again with a little bit of a zigzag just to keep it good and sturdy in case it wants to fray once it starts to get old and has been washed a number of times. It might kind of try to fray. Again. Alright, we've got these all stitched around this perimeter just from this edge all the way around to the opposite edge right there, so that ends are still loose, and straight pin there. Make sure your pins are all out. Then you're going to want to put your lighter weight one right side out. Now when I pressed these, I ironed the whole thing so that it would be nice and smooth, because you're not going to have much access to iron it after this. And so this side, your heavier side, is inside out with the outside, or the wrong side of the fabric showing. This is right side out with the right side of the fabric up. You're going to put the lighter weight one inside the heavier weight one, and then match the edges. So you just stuff it in there. Try to tuck it right down, and then you should be able to start by matching the straps. The straps matched, you're going to go around and pin all the way, all of these edges together. So if you want to start right there, we'll pin it all the way around. Then do the outside edge of the straps. Go all the way around to the opposite strap. But the trick is that you're going to stop sewing about 2 inches from the top. So this is the way it should look. You've got the wrong side out. On the inside, you're also looking at the wrong side. That's because the right sides are together. And then you're going to stitch them all the way around the edges, except you're going to stop before you get to the very end of these straps. And you want to allow at least 2 inches on all of the straps that you're not going to stitch at this point. So I'm going to start stitching on this strap that I'm planning to leave the 3 inches here and the 2 inches here, just because that will, I will remember which one I'm leaving that extra 3-inch space. It'll be really easy to see why I did that once I'm done with this, done stitching it and turn it right side out. Okay, so here we go. This is a straight stitch. But make sure that you backspace really thoroughly, because that needs to be really strong. And then just keep the edge of your presser foot riding right along the edge of that fabric. If you need to stop and turn the fabric a little bit, then do it. Okay, pins can come out of that one. Now I'll do the other side. Now this side, I don't need to leave that 3-inch on one side. I'm going to just start at the 2-inch mark. Approximately. Obviously I haven't measured it, I'm just eyeballing it. Okay, so this is stitched on all of these raw edges, all the way around here, here, and here. So, but the tails are loose, right there. Now this is the one that I left 3 inches on one side and 2 inches on the other. I sewed up a little higher on these others. Well, that one I left the same way, but doesn't matter. Now we're going to start turning this inside out, and we're going to turn the whole bag inside out through this little tiny opening. And that's why you can't use 2 real heavyweight fabrics. They just won't fit through this little tiny strap to turn it right side out. So you're going to have to just kind of work it down, and it seems impossible, and it'll seem like it's stuck and it's not going to work, and then all of a sudden it'll kind of pop and the whole thing will slide through. It sometimes kind of helps if you kind of twist this together so that it's a little bit less bulky like that. And then just work it, pull on it. You'll be glad if you back stitched really well. Just keep pulling on it, working it down. Reach into the inside and give it a tug. Kind of tuck it up in right there so that it's not having to pull through a funnel quite as much. But as you do this, almost feels like magic when it finally pops through. You can see my little zipper pocket being born. Okay, this part is getting kind of bunchy, so it wants it hesitating or harder on that end. Just keep on tugging and tucking on right on this end so that it doesn't meet up with impassable log jams. You can see how it's kind of rolling itself in to this strap. It's just about ready to pop out. Watch. If you use the 5/8 inch seam allowances to stitch these two together, you're going to have to use 2 lighter weight fabrics. There's the pop. Now it's going to slide right through. Ta-da! Now you just turn the whole thing inside out now, or right side out. Pull each strap out. Tuck this right side into that other side so that it starts to look like a bag. So one more strap still tucked in. You can just pull them right out. All right. All right, so we've got this all turned right side out. But of course these straps are still loose and raw. So you lay it out like this so that you can tell where you are. Now this strap is attached to this strap, so you attach it to the one that's beside it, not the one that's across from it. So this one goes with this one. And what you're going to do is turn the right sides of those straps together. First I'll do the heavier side, pull the other part, the bright yellow, the lighter weight one, back. So match up those edges and put a pin and then stitch 3/4 of an inch across there. You want to do it really thoroughly so it's nice and tight. Okay. And then do the same thing with the yellow. But now that these are together, it's a little bit harder. But find the right side of the yellow, so it would be this side, and the right side of this one is there. And so you're just going to very carefully turn those like that, so the right sides are together, and you're kind of twisting them, and stitch them. Same seam allowance as you used on the other side. Oh, it's kind of caught. Let's see. Keep it real flat. Okay. So now you've got both of them with the right side sewn together. Watch what happens when you pull them. Put a little tension on them, and the right sides are together and the seam is hidden. But now you've still got these raw edges. Of course, you'll do the same thing on the other side, exactly the same way. So these seams are hidden. This is going to be the most visible part of the project, or of the bag, the part with the pocket. And so this edge right here that's on the same side as the pocket is going to be the most visible. So you're going to want to stitch this part on the machine, and you'll top stitch this one. So now that you've got these two like this, and they're flat, they're not twisted, you're going to flip them so their right sides are together. Now you're going to have to kind of turn a little bit of the strap inside out on both sides so that you can get them to lie flat enough so that you can stitch them like that. But now I've got it so that by turning it inside out a little bit, I can lay it flat and just continue that stitching that I did before I turned it inside out, or right side out, right across. Okay. So now that side has a clean seam. This side, okay, now that this is flipped right side out, we've still got these ends that are not correct, that are not finished, and so you don't want to do it with the one that's across. You don't want to attach the strap to the one that's across. You want it to the one that it's beside. And so hold it like this, and then just put the right sides together on the same side, match them like that, and then stitch them using a 3/8 inch seam allowance, or 1/4 inch rather, and stitch them very thoroughly so that they'll hold. Okay, once you've done that side, now it's a little bit trickier to do the other side, but you want to do the right sides together, so you're going to need to kind of twist it around so that you can get access to them. Put the right sides together of the other fabric, in this case the bright yellow, and stitch them together. You can put a pin in there if you want to hold it as you're getting it set. Same seam allowance. I'm going to kind of straighten this out as it goes. Alright, so these are both sewn together. It looks like it's a mess, but when you pull it, you've got your seams hidden. Now, because this side of the bag is going to be the most visible, you want this edge to be the finish, the best. And so you're going to turn the strap just a little bit inside out like that. Tuck it up. And tuck up the other side just a little bit. And then put these two sides together. Oh, wait a minute, I gotta start over. That was too confusing. So you're going to try to you're going to stitch these two edges together from this side. So in order to get access to those, you're going to want to just, actually I'm going to flip them this way. You're just going to turn them, and then you're going to kind of want to turn it inside out a little bit so that you can get those to lie flat like that. And on the other side too. Just turn it a little bit inside out until you can see that those two fabrics will lie flat together. And then stitch them down and just meet the exact same stitch line that you had as you were going around it before. And back stitch it carefully also. Okay, that leaves you, so now if you flip it right side out again, just pull it straight, that leaves you with just one raw edge. So I'm going to go to the iron and I'm going to press under 1/4 of an inch on both of these raw edges right here, and then I'm going to press all of these edges really flat like that so that they're ready to top stitch. You don't want any of the opposite color showing on the other side, so just go all the way around really carefully, pressing it with your iron until you have a real nice clean flat edge on this upper edge. I'll come back to you when I finish doing that. This is all pressed nice and smooth, and there's this part is still open, so we're going to top stitch that, but we're going to top stitch all the way around so you won't be able to tell which part was left open. So I'm going to start right there at the shoulder seam of the bag. Just stitch in about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. This part might get a little bit tricky where you need to stop and adjust often. Pull out the excess material and don't go too fast. All right. So this side is all done. Now you need to do this side and this side. So the shoulder holes. Again, this one is open on the opposite side, so I'm going to start stitching it right like that, right where the opening is, because this is the other opening from the other joint of the two straps. It's already pressed neatly into place, so it should just be caught nice and neat. Just go all the way around. All right, this is all done. Well, it needs to have a few threads trimmed off, and so I'm going to go over the whole thing and trim off any little stray threads. You don't have to have the proof that you made it by hand by leaving threads hanging. So just go over the whole thing. So this is what it looks like. We'll puff it out a little bit. There's the back. There's the pocket, the patch pocket. And then and this is how you wear it. Cute, eh? And if you want the yellow side out, you flip it. And then the patch pocket is on the inside, still usable, of course. And there you have it. There's the zipper. This is how the zipper works. See? Just proof that it does work. And I think these make a delightful gift. And the fun thing is that if you're making a nifty gift like this for someone, you can personalize the material. If they're cat lovers, they can have cat fabric. If they're airplane lovers, they can have airplane fabric. Whatever kind of fabric you want to use is going to be cute. And each one can be different. And they cost just a few pennies. I'll put all of the yardage and notion in the description and on my blog at www.chocolatecreamcenters.com. And I hope that you give this a try because it's a lot of fun. And once you get going, it's really hard to stop. Thanks for watching.